Just the names: Newtown, Columbine, Aurora, Virginia Tech. Instantly, many in the United States know exactly what you're talking about. They are all mass shootings.
The cries of those children, the cries of my children, and the countless children that are yet to die.
We must act, we must act, we must act.
Among the fallen were also teachers, men and women who devoted their lives to helping our children fulfill their dreams.
18 children were pronounced dead at the school. There were 2 that were transported to area hospitals and pronounced dead at area hospitals.
Here's a quick quiz. Given all the killings and the subsequent public shock and revulsion, clearly gun violence has had a chilling effect on the sale of firearms in the United States, right? Answer: not even close. In 2013, more guns were sold in the U.S. than ever before.
There are tens of millions of these in American citizens' hands, and I feel good about that.
Come on in step across Texas with me.
Sean? Good to meet you, Sean. Welcome to Paradise. Yes,
From his sprawling ranch in the shadow of Waco, Texas, like it or not, this right-wing rock and roller has become the face and voice for the U.S. pro-gun lobby.
This is the epitome of the American dream: land ownership, resource stewardship, especially for a guy that likes to hunt and fish and trap. And I just couldn't be more proud or more excited because I'm in the middle of the greatest hunting season of my life. And you know,
Ted Nugent will say things others only think.
Octone motherfuckers. Their beauty is eclipsed only by their taste. They are the most delicious flesh in the world. I'm able to have my machine guns. I'm able to carry my guns everywhere I want.
But many believe he says too much, too often. Former U.S. Congresswoman Gabby Giffords was shot in the head back in January of 2011 by a gunman intent on killing. Giffords survived, but her life will never be the same. She has emerged as a strong gun control advocate.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
When you have something as passionate as former Representative Giffords, speaking very eloquently, very passionately from the heart, how do you counter that?
Well, first of all, you bow your head in respect for a woman who's courageous to speak up after that dastardly deed. But then you have to step back and realize that you're not here to placate Miss Gifford. You're here to do what's right. You have to be very, very careful that you don't become consumed by the emotion and love and respect for this woman when there's a much bigger issue regarding general safety and freedom.
Nugent could have stopped there, and perhaps should have, but...
And with all due respect, and I know my haters will just turn up the heat when I say this, but she was shot in the head. We can love her, we can support her, we do, but we're not going to rely on her testimony.
Shame on him. It's crazy that we can do with guns here what we're allowed to do. And I think we can...
Patricia Maish may look more like a kindly grandmother than a driven gun control advocate. But if you had seen what she witnessed, 6 people shot and killed, 13 others wounded.
All along here. And he just walked down, pulling the trigger as fast as his finger would let him, shooting 33 rounds in less than 20 seconds.
So he moved through here fast.
He moved through here fast.
She watched on that January day as Jared Lee Loeffner opened fire on Giffords and the crowd that waited to greet her. Maish became a reluctant hero after Loeffner was tackled by two men and tried to reload his weapon.
With this hand, he was taking another magazine out of his pocket, and I was able to get that magazine.
Maish and others kept a horrible situation from being even worse. The killings galvanized her to stand up and demand stricter gun laws.
Was enough. You know, and I tell people now, after Columbine, I said, oh, how awful, somebody should do something. After Virginia Tech, oh my God, how terrible, surely somebody will do something. But it took me witnessing 6 people murdered by a man with a gun on a sidewalk before I became one of those people who should do something.
Many of our American brothers and sisters agree on. We need the Congress to join us in agreement.
In 2013, the U.S. Congress voted on a measure to improve comprehensive background checks and make it more difficult to buy a gun.
Pastor Thomas Cooper, the Bronx, New York. We are all Newtown.
A bill that an overwhelming majority of Americans supported, according to polls.
My name is Mark Barden. Just 4 months ago, my wife Jackie and I lost our son.
Mark Barden's son was one of 20 first graders killed at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut.
You think the teacher saved his life?
Definitely did. He had bullets going by him, and she grabbed him and another child and pulled them into a classroom.
Among the fallen were also teachers, men and women who devoted their lives to helping our children fulfill their dreams. So our hearts are broken today.
Barden joined President Obama at the White House after an effort to toughen gun laws was defeated.
What happened in Newtown can happen anywhere, in any instant. Any dad in America could be in my shoes. No one should feel the pain.
To Nugent and the powerful gun lobby, it was a victory.
Examples. So the gun culture is about the don't tread on me mantra. We are free people. Don't you dare attempt to oppress us, because we will fight back.
Nugent is a member of what is arguably the most powerful lobby in the United States, the National Rifle Association, or NRA. The NRA is well funded, and while it boasts somewhere between 3 and 5 million active members, as many as 50 million Americans support the association.
Fire in the hole.
That means supporting guns, ammunition, and big magazines to hold as many rounds as possible.
I gotta tell you, the high capacity is an important issue, because if you're facing a violent encounter, who would vote for less bullets versus more bullets? Are you kidding me?
There's no such thing as an average gun owner in the United States. Sure, there are a lot of people who own rifles for hunting or sport, but there are many professionals, doctors, lawyers, businessmen, who like, and for a lack of a better term, collect guns. When asked, why do you need 10 to 15 guns? The answer isn't, I need. The answer is, it's my right.
The person that did the shooting is in police custody right now and is being interviewed. And we're trying to sort out the details to whether this is any type of self-defense or just the opposite. So I can tell you the gun that was used is a .40 caliber handgun. I don't know how many times he's been shot, and that's about all I got.
There are about 300 million guns in civilian hands in the United States. That's one gun for nearly every man, woman, and child in the country. There's no denying that one of the cherished freedoms in the U.S. is the right to bear arms. It's a cornerstone in the U.S. Constitution and the Second Amendment in the Bill of Rights. It is also the #1 quote from the gun lobby. As a cardiologist in Tyler, Texas, Dr. Scott Lieberman may not seem like a typical gun enthusiast.
I can't honestly say that it sounds much different to me, but I'm going to do two things.
But he is, even owning a shop called Lock and Load,
You're going to get me spoiled now if I shoot that.
This is a 40 that was built for me.
Oh, wow.
Like many gun enthusiasts, you will hear no apology from him.
You know, guns in the United States have a long history. You know, we would not likely be an independent nation if it weren't for firearms. Basically, the colonies were a fairly ragtag, you know, poorly organized military that took on the greatest military power on earth to obtain our freedom.
Okay, that was 1776. One could argue the political landscape in the country has changed dramatically in 230 plus years.
Give me a nod when you're ready.
And tighter gun laws are necessary.
Shooter's ready.
But don't make that argument with gun enthusiasts.
They don't need to be sitting there in Washington and tell us how to live life here in Texas. In fact, the second provision in our Bill of Rights says that that's supposed to be out of bounds, that they're not supposed to be able to decide whether I need something or not.
Nice, Jackson.
Ted Nugent has lots and lots of guns. Pistols, shotguns, and the civilian equivalent of what U.S. troops take into battle. It's the AR-15, a semi-automatic assault rifle.
When you hear people say, why do you need an AR-15? What's the answer?
I dismiss the question out of hand. Why do I need 4 of these? Why do you need to do an interview with Ted Nugent for the Chinese television? Why do I need a Corvette that goes 0 to 60 in 3 seconds? Why? Because I want one. It is not the Bill of Needs, it's the Bill of Rights. I have the right to pursue my happiness, and that includes fast cars, loud guitars, and lots of guns.
And any effort to strengthen gun laws is seen as an assault on freedom by the gun lobby.
The argument is there has to be just common sense legislation to try to stop the slaughter of innocent children or people who are randomly assaulted. I mean, 30,000 people, over 30,000 people die every year by guns in this country.
We must act. We must act, we must act. We'll do everything in our power to make sure that we...
For people like Diane Randall, who are trying to make it more difficult to buy guns in the U.S., the loss on Capitol Hill hurt. She calls it a huge setback.
But I don't think it has lessened the determination of anyone. I think in some ways it is a greater resolve because it crystallized the kind of opposition in a sense.
Today is not the finish line. Today is the starting blocks.
While gun control advocates regroup, gun owners march on. And you might be amazed at just how easy it is to own something like this.
Put it on safety until you get ready. Okay. That's safety's on, right?
An overwhelming number of American gun owners are law-abiding, and like Haley Dunn, embrace guns for sport and competition.
All right, here we go. Paul?
Dunn is more than likely a much better shot than you will ever be. She was an alternate on the last 2 U.S. Olympic shooting teams, and Dunn has her sights set on the upcoming games in Brazil in 2016.
Shooting has always been really, really fun for me and enjoyable, and it's, I think, because I grew up and it was something that we did as a family, and it's something that everybody can go do and try.
Right. All this is a baseball bat. You're not looking at it. You don't pay attention to it.
Okay.
You're just looking at the bird.
There you go. Get mounted.
She makes it look easy.
About where the break zone is for the target.
Dunn is also a licensed instructor and says anyone can learn.
Just see the ridges on this bird.
Okay, pull.
Just the left and down, okay? This target, because there's like no angle on it, it's basically going straight away. It doesn't take anything, meaning you got to be right on it, just touching it as close as you can.
One more shot.
That was a lot closer. Right in. You can see that.
Pull.
Oh, safety.
Safety on. Pull.
Still like right here. same spot. You're so close. Just cover it up.
Okay, pull.
That's it.
When you said cover
It
up,
feel like you were right on
Right
it.
on it that
Right
time.
on it. Yes. Good job. Good job.
it only took, what, 40?
Guns are big business in the United States, creating what the industry says is $33 billion in yearly economic activity and providing as many as 200,000 jobs. For Randy White, owner of Abels Ammo, about an hour north of Houston, Texas, guns are his livelihood and his passion.
Because it is a work of art as much as anything else.
Yes, it is. You have to give me just a minute. I've got to find them. Well, this is your high-end. This is one of your high-end guns. This is in the upward of $100,000 guns. There we go. Here we go.
A single Beretta-made shotgun. The intricate engraving took more than 400 hours.
These would actually be the screws that hold the side plates together.
Swiss watch.
Yes, it is. We had guns in the home, but the only time we were allowed to handle a gun was with my father. I think there needs to be more of the education of gun safety. I know that I was taught that at an early age. I think there is a shortage of that today.
His favorites are the shotguns, but some really big sellers are
We carry
these.
long-distance rifle shooting. We carry all the assortment of black guns, as you can see over here.
They are called black guns for an obvious reason. Another name, according to sales rep James Gilhousen, is modern sporting rifle.
On their website, it's a very impressive long-range weapon.
And all these are for sale. Simply pass a background check and walk out the door, gun in tow.
This is a Tavor. This is actually, this gun is issued by the Israeli Defense Force. Okay, that's an Armalite AR-50 national match. That gun is made to shoot very long range, up to a mile or even.
It's $4,500. And there's this.
Is this for the ladies?
Yeah, that would be probably geared towards your female shooter that wants to get into these guns and likes pink. There's a lot of them out there.
The store isn't called Abels Ammo for nothing. A tour of the warehouse, and there is ammunition of all kinds, stacked floor to ceiling. Invoices roll in throughout the day, and the ammo is shipped all over the United States. The internet has become the gun industry's friend. Cruise the website, click on what ammo or what gun you want. It's that easy. And some really, really big guns are for sale, providing you pass that quick background check.
That's safety's on, right? This is a spent cartridge from an AR-15. This is the round that goes in the 50 cal BMG, or Browning machine gun. Two people could look at this same rifle and come away with polarizing views. To gun enthusiasts, it's sport, even entertainment. But to others, it can induce a paralyzing fear.
All right, get ready. Get my earplug.
Does she kick?
Huh?
Does it kick?
Not too bad.
Okay, you guys ready?
No. Put it on fire. Take your finger off the trigger.
Now it's ready.
You ready to go?
To the uninitiated, this 6-hour 50 caliber rifle fires like a cannon.
Fire in the hole. Wow, that's powerful.
And just like so many others, you can buy this online.
You don't want this right here because the slides reciprocating.
Critics say that's outrageous and warn that a sniper rifle with a 50 caliber round could potentially bring down a plane.
All ready? Everybody geared up? Fire in the hole.
Pace disagrees.
You're not going to shoot an aircraft and take it down with this. You'd have to shoot the engine. You know what the odds are of you hitting an engine of an aircraft moving 400 miles an hour? Probably not going to happen.
Bill Pace has been around guns his entire life. He owns and operates a gun store called the Houston Armory. And he has been asked about the ultra-powerful 50 cal from lots of gun control supporters.
Why is something like this out there for anybody to buy?
Why should you tell me I can't buy something like that? If I'm going to use it for lawful purposes, and I'm going to take it to my ranch, and I want to see if I can hit a piece of steel at 1,000 yards, That's just like swinging a golf club.
Pace is carving out his own niche in the competitive world of gun sales. His shop specializes in developing and manufacturing what the industry calls suppressors, the long, thin tube on the end of this rifle. Hollywood often refers to them as silencers.
They don't make it silent. What they do is they make it hearing safe, to where there's no hearing damage.
Pace says he chiefly markets to law enforcement. Here's how he explained the suppressor to me. Some ammunition is supersonic, meaning the bullet travels faster than the speed of sound. Other ammo is subsonic. Here's a round fired with supersonic ammunition. The suppressor works pretty well. But listen how quiet subsonic ammo becomes. Suppressors are legal, but it is a lot harder to buy than a gun.
And tell me about this. This is to own this. NFA?
They are governed by the NFA, or National Firearms Act. With all the legal clearance needed, it can take a year to receive the suppressor after placing an order. The National Firearms Act dates back to 1934, when gangsters wielded Tommy guns and gang warfare reigned. In an effort to stem that violence, the NFA heavily regulated fully automatic machine guns, silencers, and sawed-off shotguns. It was later expanded to cover grenades, poison gas, and novelty items, such as pen guns and guns that were in walking canes.
We do, as people in the gun industry, have a dedication, a responsibility to inform, to educate, and I like to hear what the other side has to say, the opposition, and they have some valid points.
Barry Corey is a representative from gunmaker Beretta. One of the first things I learned is that some words make the gun industry bristle.
When I was talking earlier, I referred to this as a weapon.
Yes.
You don't like that term?
Well, the industry in itself doesn't like the term weapon. A weapon is something used to inflict harm on a person. That's the perception that the word weapon uses. I can pick up a ball bat and use it as a weapon.
While the U.S. federal government balked at efforts to strengthen gun laws, some states are doing just that, making it harder to buy rifles and handguns, including Maryland.
So about 11:15 this morning, our 911 center received a number of calls for shots fired at the Columbia Mall. Our SWAT teams, with a lot of support from agencies throughout the state, at the local, state, and federal level, frankly, are going through, as we are holding this press conference, they are inside continuing to clear that mall.
After 35 years of making guns in Maryland, Beretta just announced it's moving its U.S. plant to Tennessee, a state Beretta says is much more friendly to gun owners.
Considering the absolute millions of dollars that Beretta as a company has invested in Maryland through pay and employees and everything else, very disheartening.
We went to a gun show near Baltimore, Maryland, and found gun owners are furious. They say the government is trying to take their guns. So how is the state changing the law to buy a handgun?
So, you would need to take a 4-hour course, which will cost you somewhere between $60 and $200. Then you need to get fingerprinted. That'll cost you $54. You have then 72 hours to go online to the Maryland State Police website, upload your document, and then give them $50 only by credit card. So, you want to buy a handgun in this state? It's going to cost you somewhere in the neighborhood of no less than $300.
That $300 process covers the right to buy a handgun. But what about other firearms? We sent producer Matt Simon to the gun show to buy a $400 shotgun.
And then this one is $349.
Maintenance you have to do on this, cleaning?
Just basic general cleaning.
Let me go with this one.
You want to go with that one? All right. If you have a seat here, we'll sit down and start doing the paper. And you are a U.S. citizen, correct? So you are not going to answer 9.
Within a matter of 3 minutes or so, he was the owner of a new Mossberg shotgun.
All right. You've been approved for everything. I pronounce you man and gun.
Should I hug you?
It's whatever you'd like to hug you.
Owning a gun is a right, but my son also had a right, and he had a right to live. And I think that is more of a right than owning an automatic weapon.
Karen Teves from Phoenix, Arizona, experienced a parent's worst nightmare. While on vacation in Paradise, in Hawaii, the Teves were awakened by a chilling phone call.
I could hear the screams on the other end of the phone, and I looked at Tom, my husband, and he was just pure white. I knew something was terribly, terribly wrong at that point.
In July of 2012, at a premiere of the new Batman movie, James Holmes burst into the theater dressed as if he was ready for battle and opened fire with pistols, a shotgun, and an AR-15 semi-automatic rifle, carrying a magazine that held 100 rounds of ammo. 12 people were killed, 70 others wounded. Holmes has been charged with a mass slaying.
Discuss that person. I just won't talk about that person. I don't want to give any validity to that. It's hard for me to even call that individual a person. The manner in which he was taken was just incredibly violent. He died from a single gunshot wound to the head.
A 24-year-old going to school in Denver, Colorado, Alex Teves had everything to live for.
We were so proud of him. I mean, we couldn't have dreamed of having a son like him.
He died using his body as a shield to protect his girlfriend. His family saying that's just the kind of person Alex was. The Centers for Disease Control, based in Atlanta, says about 33 people are murdered in the U.S. daily. A vast majority are shot and killed. Teves says the U.S., in many ways, is simply numbed by gun violence.
In this country, I think. You know, how could we kill 33 rare dolphins a day? I mean, people would stand up and speak out loudly. You know, my son, I mean, he's extinct now. I mean, there was only one Alex. My heart will never heal. The pain will never stop. We lost an entire generation. He's our firstborn son. He didn't have any children. He was on a path to finish his schooling, get married, have kids. That's all gone, so I don't think it'll get easier. I just hope we can make a difference in his memory.
Tucked away in southern Minnesota, where the winters are long and cold, is a company called Drive a Tank. And it allows you to do just that.
The only place in the United States where you can drive tanks and shoot machine guns. So it's, you know, fulfills a sense of macho and a big, you know, it's awesome.
How hard is it to learn to drive something like this?
Not very hard. It's pretty much the throttle and the 2 brake levers will get you to go. So it seems really complicated, but it's just braking and throttle.
This is a British tank, or to be more accurate, a self-propelled gun.
The Brits must be small people.
The instructor is right there, but learning is pretty intuitive.
All right, pull the brake levers toward yourself, the buttons will pop up.
And with the cold and snow, I felt as though I was a member of General Patton's tank brigade, bursting through the Ardennes to come to the aid of Easy Company. But there's a reason Drive a Tank usually doesn't let people drive in the heavy snow late in winter.
The ice will build up in the track here. You can kind of see it happen a little bit down here, right there. If the ice builds up too bad, it'll split the track.
And finding a replacement piece of track for a piece of war machinery that should probably be in a museum, not the snow of Minnesota, isn't easy. The adventure isn't cheap either. Bargain basement cost is around $400. Upgrade to the deluxe package at around $2,500, and you are in the driver's seat of a British Mark X Chieftain. Oh, and it gets better. It is all the brainchild of Tony Borglum.
Well, yeah, everybody knows everything's bigger in America, I guess. I realized how interesting all the vehicles were and how many options were out there. And then, most importantly, I realized that anybody could own a tank.
In all, Borglum has close to a dozen tanks. About 1 in 4 of his clients spends the money to crush a car because it also allows them to do this.
Experience the power.
Did I hit anything?
Not really.
Drive a Tank also allows you to fire fully automatic weapons, many of which date back 70 years.
No, this is a World War II relic. This is a German MG42 belt-fed machine gun. This gun was made during World War II, and it survives today in our collection as a piece of history that you can experience.
Okay, now this one you might want to let off of if it starts getting out of hand.
Borglum says the experience is uniquely American, driving tanks and shooting big, powerful guns.
Wow, that was about 15 rounds. The movie can only be so realistic, but when you've been able to come here and see the power, it makes you realize what somebody would have been gone through, you know, where they would have been.
Woo. There are hundreds of millions of guns in the United States.
There is more firepower in the hands of American citizens right now than any country's army in the history of the world.
No rational person wants to relive this. Or this.
Every one of these mass murderers or attempts at mass murder had neighbors, schoolmates, co-workers, family, and close friends that were aware of and shared a history of violent tendencies and life-threatening conduct. But no one said anything because of the new curse in our life called political correctness.
A cop-out and a poor excuse, according to gun control supporters who are hell-bent on silencing the powerful gun lobby and guns.
I'm trying. There's a lot of roadblocks. I believe we will get it done. I just don't understand why it's taking so long. Our country is in such an emergency crisis. We're at war within ourselves.